Hello and thank you for watching my video. This is a new series that's going to look at some of the hidden gems in Guild Wars 2. Just things that, as a player you may not sort of really take notice of. Just things that sort of may go over your head, maybe that you're playing so intensely you don't really sort of acknowledge and realize how beautiful and how artistic these are. And this episode is going to look at the Elementalist weapon skills, because what you'll notice is that it varies for different classes and different races, that each actual animation is incredibly detailed and sort of, it's very unique. And so we're going to start off here on my human elementalist, because obviously elementalists have on their staff 4 sort of attunements. You're going to get 20 skills. I'm going to cycle through all these weapon skills so you can get an idea just of, sort of the animation that they go through. You can see here sort of you get the little wave that they get going to do sort of, the sort of lava font. And again, sort of, for skill 3 on the fire staff and skill 4, not anything really spectacular there. But this elementalist, the animations on some of the skills really is sort of fabulous, and just to examine and see the detail that the animators have actually gone through. I am going to go and put through some of the other skills that you have in as an elementalist, and the ones I do love the glyphs, because I think they're really beautiful, the way sort of you can imagine them doing that actually in a movie type of scenario, having a glyph skill. But meteor shower is one of the more elegant, for me, the most beautiful animation. As an elementalist I am going to be a bit biased because I do that a lot, but even the healing skills, if you look at what we're going to do, Duana, you watch the animation for this. It's a really beautiful animation, and it's obviously taken a fair amount of work. We look at the glyphs. I love the glyph sort of, it's like almost like a dialing code, it's like sort of left, right, up, down, bam, press, and it's activated. And I think they're really well designed. Same with the sort of the signets, where you've got a big sort of signet above your head. Sort of they're pretty cool. And so we go on to the water attunement, again some of these bog standard ones, but again what you've got to look at as well is the secondary animation, the falling items, the sort of healing spring type sort of animation, really well designed. And some things that obviously when you're playing you're like, okay, heal me, you put up the freeze, you don't realize, you look at the freezing skill, the detail on the flooring. And when we look at the heal skill, or the sort of skill 5 on the elementalist, as we look at sort of another healing skill, look at the animation on that healing skill. I'm going to try and show you that again, I think, because that was really beautiful. These damn elementals are in the way. But we move on to the air attunement. This skill 2, I really do love the animation, because you stick out your staff sideways. Sort of, it's one of the few times that you change the way you hold your staff and you really point it at someone and fire at them. And static field, really, it's elegant, sort of it does look like a static field. But again, if we look at skill 2 here, I'm going to turn off the sort of HUD. There you go, look at that, bam. And then the lightning, it's all very detailed, the lightning bolt that comes out of that. So if we look again at the healing spring, look, it pops out of you, the water, and then it moves over there. So obviously the healing rain is coming from you over to there. Same with not quite the same with the healing spring. But let's have a look at, I think, yeah, we'll try and do the healing skill again. Here we go. So this is the healing skill. I mean, look at the little rainbow effect. I don't know if that's to do with my Bifrost. It probably is, but even the weapons, I'm going to talk about in another video. But you got Armor of Earth. You got, look at the little spinning rocks animation on that. Each rock is individual. There's nothing the same about it, and it's that detail. Nobody really sort of looks at this sort of thing, and I just want to take the time to appreciate that a lot of the effort that goes in to creating new skills, sort of, the animation that it takes to create a new skill. And we do have the ice bow. I did have to admit that when I went through the ice bow, it is pretty much a ranger weapon. The rangers animations are in all of this, but I'm not really going to focus on them too much. But if you ever ask a developer to create a new skill, come up with some new skills, for example, to do with specializations, and we're going to have all these new skills come in as we move on to the earth attunement. Again, some cool animations. But the developers have to spend a lot of time making these animations, and they have to do it for the majority, many of the different races, because as you will come on to later, the Azuran have some slightly different animations, and obviously you know, we've got here, we're on the staff. I'm going to show you again another view of this beautiful skill, sort of the meteor shower. Look at that. Just love the way that the Elementalist sort of rises and sort of waves in, and it's sort of elegant, sort of calling down the meteors. Really sort of, you know, it's beautiful, sort of beautifully developed and beautifully put together, I think. What we're going to do, I think, again, you've got the sort of firestorm here. That sort of, again, it's a nice glyph. I do love, you know, with the glyphs, so I think they are pretty cool. This one doesn't do anything. It doesn't actually have an animation. It just automatically pops. So what we'll try and do, I think I've got dagger on this, but oh, we've got fiery greatsword. That has slightly different animations to greatswords. Has a few different sort of, you've got the spinning skill, which obviously the warriors have. And one of the other skills, skill 2, I believe, is very similar to the Mesmer greatsword skill, where you plant the greatsword in the ground. And so they with the Elementalist weapon skills, they do tend to follow a lot of the other skills that other classes already have. Just slight tweaks on them. So I'm not going to spend too much on the conjured weapons for the Elementalist, because again, I think they've already been covered, or they will be covered in other videos with those. Again, you got that little glyph for the healing. You know, that's so cool. You sort of, you know, I loved it. You can imagine if they ever made a Guild Wars 2 movie, you'd have an Elementalist and you'd see someone in game, sort of, you know, an actress sort of doing that glyph skills, you know, left, right, sort of boom, and then sort of that would be a really good animation to have in a movie. I tried doing it with a few other ones. Lightning Flash doesn't really do anything, you know, nothing that sort of you can see on it itself. But let's use, I don't have a scepter on this character at the moment. I've got a focus, so we'll try and bring that in a little bit after I've done the dagger. The dagger build is mainly for my PvP Elementalist, but I love the skill here, skill 2. It's one of my favourite animations. It's on the skill 2 on the fire and also on the water achievement. But you can see just like the ring and that cool skill 5 there. We were right behind it, getting that full flame blast. But here we go, I'm going to turn off the HUD. Look at that, that is some solid breath. But if you notice the mouth movement as well, it doesn't just stay open the whole time, it sort of moves as well. And this is what I'm going to highlight in this video, the differences you get between races. You can see there, look, the mouth opens and then narrows a little bit. And you can see here it's very detailed. Things you wouldn't really pick up on unless you're really looking at this. I noticed, I played the Revenant at the Resd demo, and the animations were really good, and that's something that I think with the improvements to, you know, the point of the first person camera mode, as we can see here, this whip style, I mean, that is a beautiful animation there. Just, you know, these sort of things will become a lot more, you know, I think become a lot more noticed. And I think as well, if you ever do play PvP in particular, you really do have to identify some of the skills and the animations, because the difference with Guild Wars 1 was you actually saw above the character's head, sort of the, you know, when you targeted them, what skills they were doing. So you could interrupt them if they were casting Meteor Shower, and you could also see what their, you know, what skills they're using. With Guild Wars 2, it's all about the actual looking at seeing the animation, and so you need to sort of look at these animations and see, okay, I can tell, and you'll notice here I'm on Earth Achievement, look, the Stomp, but skill 5, you'll notice here, this is a big tell one. Very rarely do I hit this in PvP, but watch this, this is one of my, again, another beautiful one. It's a long casting time, and here we go, bam, that is churning Earth, and that is a big old skill to hit that one. But most people can see it coming. It's a long skill time, but it, you know, it's a very unique animation, and so people can realize that. So let's look at the focus. The focus doesn't have too many skills. Obviously, it's only got 8 skills compared to some of the other. Sort of the staff has 20. But we look here, nothing really on that, and again, it just changes colour. Nothing great there. We look, Swirling Winds, one of the most familiar sort of skills in the game. It's the only time you ever see that. If you play PvP, you'll see the, you know, sort of the casters in the sort of against with the Lord. They actually use that a lot, and so that's why it's quite familiar to most people. Again, sort of cool animations, casting water, and we've got the flame animation. You know, sort of that swooping up then down and shield moment. So let's move on to my little Azura Elementalist, and this is where I really noticed the animations, because I love my little cute Elementalist. But even look there, it's just a little twist, you know, the little twist, and then this. She's actually off the ground doing this flame. You know, if you compare that to the human Elementalist, a bit different, because the Azuran, obviously, you know, it's a smaller character. The animations have to be a little bit different. You'll probably notice this with the Warrior or the Guardian, but let's have a look at that again. Skill 2. So here we go. I love that. I love here. You can actually hear and you can see her actually speak.
I command stone and soil.
So if you ever get that boon, you actually don't realise that the actual character's mouth moves with the actual, you know, when you get a boon, the actual, your playable character makes a sound that sort of speaks in time, and her mouth moves at the same time. It's a very small little thing, but really, really well done. You can see here we're doing some, again, we've got the skill 2, lovely, my little Azura. You think, you know, she's cute to look at, but then when she sort of opens her mouth and you see those sharp teeth, man, she's a vicious little one. But again, we're going to get the Scepter out now, a Scepter with 12 skills. You know, Scepter does have sort of some interesting, you see these little shards that explode and leaves that sort of frosty mess. You know, it's all very, very intricate design, and obviously what I find is that when Guild Wars 2 was first, you know, being released in slow amounts when they were releasing information, they did release skills like, you know, here we have the Phoenix, and it really looked amazing. And I think a lot of people have lost sight of some of like these animations and how cool these actually are, compared to some other games out there that really can't compare in terms of like the animation style, the detail that goes into this. So playing the Revenant really struck home that there is some really good animation out there, and I think it's definitely worth you guys taking the time just to, you know, if you're in PvP waiting in the queue, have a look at some of the skills you actually do. I mean, you've got these little rocks here that you form, and I needed to find an enemy. But just look, I've got, what, 5 or 6 rocks? So watch what happens when we come up against a golem, you know, we can fire them. But we're firing each of the little rocks in turn, and it's really, really cool, really, really well done. So I'm hoping this series is going to show off few little things that, you know, you guys may not have seen, and I'm hoping that you can appreciate the artistic and effort that the developers have gone into in making some of these animations, and just really, you know, look at the game a little bit closer light. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to make any comments. Obviously this is the first in this series. If you've got any suggestions, please let me know. Catch you on the next one.